How would you react if you found out that fast food in your own homeland is going through some tough times? Of course, we're talking about the McDonald's fast food restaurant. It has long lost its leading position among competitive chains like Subway, KFC, and Burger King. Yet worldwide, the establishment of the McDonald brothers, Richard and Maurice McDonald, is associated with fast, incredibly filling, and tasty food. Nowadays, this fast food restaurant has a terrible reputation. It's often referred to as a restaurant for the poor or a dirty dive, and people generally hesitate to order food from this franchise. But how did the food giant with a global name fall out of favor with the descendants of its first customers? That's what we're going to delve into. McDonald's in the USA. You've probably heard that McDonald's in the USA caters to a less affluent crowd. Indeed, when you visit any of its branches in any state, you're likely to find a less well-off clientele. Additionally, the low level of cleanliness and hygiene in the dining area is quite noticeable. Nevertheless, they are almost always full of customers. As you enter, you're greeted by the persistent smell of the kitchen, which consists of overcooked oil, sizzling griddles, salt, and meat. You'll have to accept these aromas if you decide to have a meal in the restaurant.
Almost all items on the menu are standardized and well-defined, and you can find them in any restaurant around the world. However, there are differences. In each country, some items are more popular than others, resulting in exclusive dishes, especially in Europe. But in the USA, this diversity has been phased out in favor of classic, traditional burgers and French fries. There are only minor differences between states. The atmosphere inside. The kitchen in the establishment resembles more of an industrial workshop where work goes on without breaks. There is a prevailing belief that the birthplace of fast food should delight customers with the best taste of their beloved dishes. However, it's not all rosy. The systematic cooking technology occasionally malfunctions, and it's not due to human error. In the USA, businesses try to minimize expenses as much as possible. Entrepreneurs that are less customer-oriented. That's why the American McDonald's uses the cheapest rapeseed oil for frying. It has lower resistance to high temperatures. However, it's used repeatedly to prepare the same items throughout the day. After a few batches, a bitter taste starts to appear in new orders, especially noticeable in the French fries. Under the layer of sauce and other ingredients in a burger, this unpleasant aftertaste is less noticeable. For those less well-off, these details may not be bothersome, and regular citizens have long been oversaturated with such familiar fast food, so they rarely visit this franchise. Moreover, typical customers don't add charm to this place and even make it impossible to enjoy a meal. Why should the staff bother catering to customers' taste preferences when everyone seems satisfied? Besides, the percentage of tourists in less populous states is too low to warrant changing a well-functioning business model for their sake. Therefore, innovations in American McDonald's are rare and introduced more as experiments than for variety. This is most evident in the assortment of sauces. In almost all establishments in the USA, only ketchup, mustard, barbecue, and cheese sauces are available, while their variety in other countries is much greater. The staff often treat their customers disrespectfully. Many Americans have noted errors in their orders with no willingness to correct them. Differences in taste. The recipes for these dishes are shrouded in mystery. Over the years, there have been many rumors about American fast food. However, most of them have been debunked. Several generations have now been enjoying the genius yet simple combinations of ingredients. The only thing that has been observed among fast food enthusiasts is an increased obesity rate. However, this is more related to uncontrolled eating habits than harmful additives. Although it's worth acknowledging that in the USA, many farmers and food suppliers can use various means to increase the yield or fertility of cattle without consequences. Tourists from other countries often remark that this affects the taste of meat and other dishes. McDonald's in France. In contrast, let's shift to the cradle of haute cuisine, France. You might think that a highly standardized franchise, operating like clockwork, wouldn't have many differences between its establishments. Unfortunately,
There are differences. Of course, we won't be comparing popular tourist cities like Paris. For example, in a small French town like Lyon, there is also a family establishment. Prices there are significantly higher than in any other cafe in the USA. But what about other aspects of dining? The dining areas are almost always well maintained, clean, and filled with decorative elements in the European style. As blogger Oli in France reports, French McDonald's are spacious, tastefully decorated restaurants that encourage people not to rush while eating. Cozy McCafes with their luxurious armchairs and sofas have become extensions of many restaurants. The smell of the kitchen is much less pronounced as these establishments are often located near residential areas. And in France, food waste emissions are regulated at the legislative level, including unpleasant odors. The menu is slightly more diverse, with seasonal novelties such as the Alpine burger with 3 types of cheese, galettes de Royce, salads with arugula, and Chinese cabbage. As dessert options, you can find mini croissants. Of course, it's the same old McDonald's with its family cheeseburgers and French fries. The taste of most dishes is nearly identical, with bitterness being less common. French customers prefer corn or soybean oil, while rapeseed oil is more characteristic of northern European countries like Denmark. Moreover, in France, even in small establishments, there's an emphasis on the view from the window so that patrons can take a break from the already pleasant ambience inside. Overall, the architecture and cultural heritage allow for this. Food industry regulations. France's stringent legislation regarding the food industry leaves the restaurant business with no choice but to use natural products. McDonald's is subject to these sanctions as well. For instance, in the USA, McDonald's claims that its beef cattle are mainly fed corn. The company's management does not consider the possible use of growth hormones for the animals. While there is no denial, there is also no concrete data. Although in the USA, it is not heavily penalized by the law. However, all French cows are fed grass, which many claim makes the meat tastier. According to McDonald's France, growth hormones are prohibited here, and each animal has a passport showing where it was born, raised, and slaughtered. As a contrasting example, not only France but also other European countries fit the bill. Differences between the branches of this large franchise worldwide are influenced not only by cultural differences in cuisine, but also by various legislative frameworks that either restrict or grant freedom to restaurant businesses. It can be unequivocally said that in the United States, the idea of the two brothers about simple but tasty food collided with the ingenious yet destructive entrepreneurship of a young businessman. Without his influence, the world wouldn't have seen the amazing cafe that unites people of different ages all around the globe. It's worth acknowledging that in some places, this concept thrived, providing a great incentive for development and experimentation, while in others, it remained at its original level or even worsened in the pursuit of cost-saving measures at the expense of its own customers.